World History. Albert Einstein's address to the Jewish Council for Russian War Relief, 1942. Quote, "The tempo of Russia's development in the last 25 years has been so tremendous that it has scarcely a parallel in history." End quote. Albert Einstein, well-known theoretical physicist, escaped Nazi Germany and moved to the USA to avoid persecution. As a scientist and as a Jew, he came to respect the Soviet Union, a fact that bourgeois history would much prefer we forget. In this speech, he takes the opportunity to dispel some common anti-communist myths. Albert Einstein, Wednesday, 1st of January 2025. The following text is Albert Einstein's address at a dinner sponsored in his honour by the Jewish Council for Russian War Relief on 25th of October 1942 at the Hotel Commodore, New York. At this point of the Second World War, the Soviet Union stood alone as the only fighting force against Nazi Germany in Europe. As friends of human progress, as Americans, and not least as Jews, we have the very strongest reasons for giving our utmost to the struggle of the Russian people for freedom. Let us be clear at the outset. For many years our press has misled us about the achievements of the Russian people and their government. But today everybody knows that Russia has worked and is working for the advancement of science with the same zeal as our own country. And by what she has achieved in this war, she has made it no less plain that she has done great things in all industrial and technical fields. From rudimentary beginnings, the tempo of her development in the last 25 years has been so tremendous that it scarcely has a parallel in history. It would be false to consider this triumph of organisation as an isolated phenomenon. In the political field, it was the Russian government of all the great powers that laboured in the most honest and unequivocal way to promote international security. She pursued this goal in her foreign policy until shortly before the outbreak of war, actually until the other powers brusquely shut her out of the European concert in the days of the betrayal of Czechoslovakia. Then she was driven to conclude the unhappy pact with Germany, for it was notorious that an attempt was being made to turn the force of the German attack eastwards. Russia, in contrast to the Western powers, had supported the legal government of Spain. She offered assistance to Czechoslovakia and was not guilty of strengthening the arms of the German and Japanese adventurers. Russia, in short, cannot be accused of faithlessness in the field of foreign politics. By the same token, we may look forward to a powerful and loyal cooperation upon some workable scheme of international security, provided she finds the same seriousness and goodwill in the other powers. A single comment on the domestic politics of Russia. It is undeniable there is strong political compulsion. It may be, in part, due to the necessity of breaking the power of the former ruling class and securing the country against foreign aggression, to the difficult task of converting a politically ignorant and culturally backward people against all the deep-rooted traditions of their past, to a nation of organised productive labour. I presume to pass no judgment in these difficult matters. But in the unity of the Russian people against a powerful enemy from without, I see proof of a universal mighty will to defend what it has won, by means of unlimited sacrifice and exemplary individual self-denial. We must also remember that the economic security of the individual and the economic application of the productive strength of the country to the common good demanded a certain sacrifice of personal freedom. That personal freedom which is, after all, not very real unless it comprises a measure of economic security. Again, let us consider how extraordinarily successful Russia has been in fostering the intellectual life of her people. Mammoth editions of the best books are distributed everywhere and eagerly read and studied. This in a country where 25 years before all culture was restricted to a very thin layer of the privileged few. This is a revolution which we can only faintly conceive. Finally, let me mention a fact of peculiar and decisive importance for us Jews. In Russia, there is not only a formal, but an actual equality of nationalities and cultural groups of every sort. Quote, equal goals and equal rights with equal contribution, end quote, is no empty phrase, but a standard followed in real life. So much about Russia as she is today. Now a little more about what she means to us. Suppose she was to be defeated by the German hordes, as nearly the whole continent was defeated before her. Where should we be? We in England and America? I think it takes no great stretch of the imagination to see that we should be in a very bad way. Personally, I think that without Russia, the German bloodhounds would have reached their goal, or even today would still reach it. So it is merely a dictate of self-preservation that we shall do for Russia all that our uttermost effort can do. This quite aside from the fact that the huge losses and sufferings of her people have laid on us and our children a debt we must be conscious of every hour of our lives, if we want to retain our own self-respect. Let us conduct ourselves accordingly and give our full support to the Jewish Council for Russian War Relief.